me, and that's my wife. That's Halloween, okay? So we dressed up as each other, and then we sent this picture out to our friends, and only our friends. So I guess you guys are all my friends now because Brad shared it with you. To announce that we were expecting we're going to have another little baby in May. So it was kind of a little flipperoo kind of thing. So that's why that freaky picture is there, you know? On top of that freaky picture is a freaky word, magisterium. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have like an overactive imagination, like crazy. So when I see that word and hear that word magisterium, I'm always thinking like in comic books, you know, where they have those crazy like metals and things that have powers in them, you know, like Wolverine's bones are made of some crazy hard metal. What's that called? Adamantium or something like that. And then you got that stuff that kills Superman, like kryptonite. And then magisterium is kind of a word like that for me. It sounds like a superpower. So I always like imagine the Pope, you know, and he wants to kick some heretic butt, you know, but he doesn't know how. And he's like, these guys don't believe in what we should believe. Except he would say it with a German accent, you know, and they would go, and he would go, what do we do? What do we do? He said, did you bring the magisterium? The magisterium. But that's just me. I have an overactive imagination. The magisterium, though, is kind of like a weapon, or kind of like a superpower, but not like in this kind of like we'll beat you with it kind of way, although some people tend to see it that way. The magisterium is a part of the church that holds the church's teaching ability and teaching authority. And so it's made up of members, and the members of the magisterium are the bishops of the church. And what they do is they take everything that the church teaches and they make sure that it's being well interpreted, and they make sure that it's being well communicated, and that it's being communicated authentically in accordance with what the scriptures say and in accordance with what the traditions of the church say. And so they hold that very special office and that very special ability to teach on behalf of the church, and that's what the magisterium is. And it is kind of like I said, it is kind of like a weapon or a protection thing, because what magisterium, what the ability to have a centralized group that takes care of the teaching and makes sure that we authoritatively understand what's being said. The importance of having a group like that is so that we don't suffer from division. You know, like, you ever like have one group and the group, like, you know, they all kind of have the same belief, you know, like that you know, blue jeans are cool or something like that. And then all of a sudden one group comes in and they're just all about khaki. And all of a sudden, you know, like now you have two groups, because, you know, you have the group that authentically believes that blue jeans are the epitome of cool, and now you have the group that thinks, no way, khaki is the way to go, man. And of course we all know neither of that's true, right? Plaids, you know. But so you got these two groups, and so how do you decide like who's right and who's wrong, and how do we know? And so there's a group in the church that helps us interpret these things, that says blue jeans all the way, man, or khakis all the way, man. And it's the same when we have teachings of the church on faith and on morals that are difficult to understand and that need a long ways of interpreting, where we need to be able to be really mindful of everything that's happened in the history of the church over 2,000 years. We need to be really mindful of everything that's happened in the scriptures and the Bible. I mean, who knows everything that happened in the scriptures? Yeah, me neither. You know, and who knows everything that happened in the whole 2,000-year history of the church? Yeah, me neither. But you know who does? The magisterium. Right. So they're there to protect us from the division that comes from false teaching. And it's very important, because the church is this great big continuum of Scripture and of interpreting Scripture and of tradition and the ways that the church practices and prays. And somebody needs to keep that ship on the right course. And the magisterium does that for us. And the bishops, and primarily through the person in the office of the Bishop of Rome, who's the Pope. Make sense? That's the magisterium. So it's not a comic book kind of crazy metal that's used to like kill superheroes or heretics. It is just the teaching, authority, and office of the church that allows us to authentically interpret and understand things in terms of faith and morals. And that's what the magisterium is. It's a big word to say that somebody is helping us to interpret all the information and all the data that we have from the beginning of the church until now, to be able to authentically understand what the truth of the gospel is. And when we don't have an office like that, we get into a fight like the khakis and the blue jeans people. And then we have no way of knowing who's right and who's wrong, and we have division. And you know if a friend has ever left you because you wear blue jeans or because you wear khakis, you know that that's painful to have division. And so the magisterium is really not only a teaching office and an office of authority, but it's also an office of unity. It keeps the Catholic Church together so that we can have 1 billion people all over the world speaking millions of, probably not millions, but thousands of different languages and celebrating Mass in just every country in the world, and yet still have one faith that we hold as true and authentic and good. So the magisterium, yeah, it's about authority, but it's also about unity. It keeps us together. What makes us Catholic, because Catholic means universal. So that's the magisterium in a nutshell. There's all kinds of stuff, technical stuff. Today's the Feast of Immaculate Conception. I could explain how the magisterium works in a case like the Immaculate Conception, but it seems like that would be kind of technical and boring. So I'm going to stop there. Does that make sense? Is that enough from your notes?
Yeah.
Not too long?
Nope.
Way too long. Sit down. Okay.
Oh, John, before you go, I know you're going to go home and put your baby in the bed. Could you tell us a little bit about this thing, that you wear this shirt and this logo? And
Oh yeah, this is my Steubenville shirt. I'm the only one in Canada who has one of these. Isn't that funny? And it's kind of a sore point because I used to order them for all the 10 people who work on my organizing committee, but they kept fighting about, you know, theirs didn't fit and they didn't like the size or the color or anything like that. So I said, fine, I'm not ordering any for anybody, including myself. And then they sent me one, so I'm like, ha ha! So it's a sign that I should wear it. Now, Steubenville is a conference, Steubenville Atlantic is a conference. Anyone been there before or heard of it before? All right, good. They'll explain to you how good it is. And we get together young people from all across Atlantic Canada. A couple even come down from Ontario, 800, 900 people, sometimes 1,000. And we just have a really rocking good time. And we talk about things like magisterium and sip coffee. No, we play great music and we talk about the faith in an exciting way. Have a great chance to worship in a way that's really interesting and fun and upbeat, and I think in a way that you might enjoy. So there's a little video there about what happens at the conference. It's got footage from, this conference happens at 19 places all over North America. We're the only one in Canada, by the way, so that's cool. And so this has got footage from all over. It plays this year's theme song. It's really cool. For you guys, and what Brad, I think, wanted me to mention to you particularly, was right here in this hall on January the 15th, we're having our kickoff party for the Steubenville Conference. So we're bringing in a big band, 9 pieces from Ottawa. We're bringing in Mr. Bob Rice, who's been affiliated with the Steubenville Conferences almost, I don't know, for 15 or 20 years now. And he's a teacher, and he's a musician and a songwriter. So he's going to talk about what the conference is all about, what this year's theme is all about. The band is going to play some great, great music, including this year's theme song. And it's all going to happen right here from 7 to 9 on January 15th. And you're all invited to come. Even though you're not old enough to go to the conference, I want you to come here to the launch so you can see what it's all about.
technically, half of them are in grade 8, which means that coming up this summer, it can be the first of 5 years they can go to the Steubenville Conference.
Sure.
Technically, right?
Right. If you're going into grade 9 in fall, then yeah, you can come to the conference.
That should be enough stalling, John, but
Are you good, Matt?
I think so. Technically, that should be good. If my speakers would work, awesome. I don't think it's my
It's
speakers.
because it's a Mac.
Well, here's what we're going to do.
I hope you can get up here.